Hi, it's Shannon. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Rouge Smoking Extrait. Now, if you don't know the original, Rouge Smoking by BDK is a gorgeous perfume, and it smells to me like take a Dr. Pepper cherry cola and add vanilla ice cream, and it has this like fizzy quality. It's an amazing perfume. And BDK, when they make an extrait, which by the way, if you're not familiar with an extrait, it's a higher concentration of perfume oil. So typically it's stronger, but it might not project out as far, but it really tends to be denser. And if you were to take your arm and smell your arm, you spray the perfume, it would definitely smell typically more potent. So BDK is known for making fabulous extraits. I honestly prefer the Gris Charnel. I prefer the Passoir extrait. So I was so excited to get my hands on. I was so good. I did not blind buy. I got my hands on a sample of the BDK extrait. So I'm going to share with you, did I end up buying a full bottle? What do I think of it? How does it compare to the original? And then I'll do some comparisons. Is there anything that it reminds me of? Is this totally original? Is it new? Is it nothing we've smelled before? So let's jump right into it. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the original. Now, I have the original right here with me, and I absolutely adore this. I'm just going to spray. I'm just gonna do like I'm just gonna coat myself a little bit. Oh dear me. Oh dear me, is that good? Like I said, this is fizzy, it's light, it's got heliotrope, and this hits you really strong with that tonka. And if you're not familiar with tonka bean, it smells very almondy, and there's definitely cherry in here, but the way I would describe the cherry is like powdery cherry, and I think that's the heliotrope. And what that does is it really smooths out the perfume, so you're not getting this like juvenile smell, even though I described it as a cola, a cherry cola with vanilla ice cream. It smells expensive, it smells smooth, it's very pretty. I adore the original fragrance. So you're not here to talk about the original though, are we? So, and I will say, the original, the longevity is, to me, it's okay. I tend to want to reapply. I don't think it stays beyond a couple hours, maybe 4 hours, and it's not a beast mode. The extraits tend to be stronger and they tend to perform better. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see about the extrait. So if you want to know about that, then just stick around. So when I first got my sample and I smelled Rouge Smoking Extrait, I was actually kind of surprised. And I was surprised because it's a pretty big deviation from the original. And let me explain just a little bit about that. So the original, as I mentioned, is like pretty heavy on the tonka. There's definitely that powdery cherry. Now in the extrait, I expected some of that to transfer over. And what I actually get in the extrait is a lot more heavy notes. So there's a ton of resinous notes in here. There's a lot of amber and like balsam notes, and there's oud as well, which takes the perfume in a very, very different direction. And it's not that I don't like it, because I do like it, and I have a tester strip, and I did just spray a little just to kind of like refresh myself. And I've worn this a couple times, so I've tried out the extrait, but I think, to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed because I was expecting something else, and I really wanted a stronger version of the original. And what they gave us was kind of a new perfume. Like, they could have launched that and put a different name on it, and I would never associate it with the original. So I was a little disappointed about that. Now, do I like it? I do like it. I think it's nice. The first thing that I thought of when I put it on was, oh, that really reminds me of Sirène by Fragrance Du Bois. And I adore this perfume. And I've spoken about this before. I think it was in my luxury video. And I'll spray this as well. I was just gonna like spray it up my face. Yeah, so I think for me, Sirène also has some oud in it, but I find that Fragrance Du Bois blends their oud so smoothly. And oud can kind of have like a woody or musty smell, and it can kind of even sometimes have like a dirty smell. And sometimes it'll take over a fragrance where you start to not pick up on other notes. So it can kind of take over a cherry note, or if there is tonka. Oh my God, there is tonka in the mid, okay, in the extrait of Rouge Smoking, but the original is just so prominent that it just it doesn't smell similar to me. So I want to call out just a couple of the additions to the extrait and what they've added in here. So they've got balsam notes. They added some rum, and there's a milk accord, which, to be honest, I don't really get a lot of like creaminess with this. I get a lot more of the resins, and they've thrown in a lot of, you know, the benzoin, the amber, and benzoin's gonna smell like, basically it's reminiscent of sort of a vanilla note, but it's deeper. And oud, like I said, will come off kind of woody. It's a very prominent note in Middle Eastern perfumery. And just to kind of debunk a lot of assumptions about oud, it's typically a synthetic note. We're not destroying the environment, so it's not coming from actual trees. It's a synthetic oud note. It's very rare that you'll actually find genuine oud being used. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I love the original. I will have that in my collection forever. I adore it. The extrait version was a little bit of a letdown. Now, I might be more interested in it if I already didn't own, you know, Sirène by Fragrance Du Bois, because to me, if I take the two profiles, which are very similar, and this also, by the way, has lactone notes in it, so it even has similar notes to the extrait, I might be more interested in picking it up or playing around with it to see if it's worth adding to my collection. But right now, I just don't really see a place for it. I don't see myself reaching for it. And do I think if you really like those resinous heavy notes and you kind of dial back the tonka, dial back the cherry, and then you also think about kind of bringing in a little bit more of that oud. To me, it's very prominent. I know it's different for different people, but if that sounds good to you, I would say definitely get a sample. I was this close to blind buying it. So make sure you get a sample first. It might not be exactly what you're expecting, especially with the BDK extracts, because I typically have adored every single extrait that they have come out with. And usually they maintain some of the original DNA. And I found in this case that they took such a deviation that for me, it's a pass. I will, you know, play around with this sample a little bit more. I might just let it sit and maybe revisit it and see if I change my mind. But for now, I'm happy with the original, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're interested in the extrait, or maybe now you might check out the original if you've never smelled it before. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back in another video soon. Bye.